We're back in the base game. Blood level 19, Holy Moonlight Sword. We have made it to the research hall. And this is like where the absolute depravity went down. One of the things I've been kind of like brushing up on DMC Redgrave's Pale Blood Hunt since we've been talking so much about lore. One of the things that he mentions is that like these people here, they seem to like want to be here, like they're not here against their will.
Anyone seen my eyes? I am afraid I've dropped them in a puddle. Everything's pale now.
And certainly, kind of, because we find people who are like, "Oh, Lady Maria, I failed you. I'm sorry." For sure. But we also find people who are like, "Please, God, kill me." So I'm not sure I'm ready to say that this is completely consensual. These patients have been like tied down, but they seem to have escaped their bindings. There's a medical condition that I looked up the first time I played this game, where you have fluid in your brain and your head swells. I believe it's called encephalopathy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. This reminds me a lot of that. These folks talk about how, like, they hear water. They hear dripping. Here we see, like, a regular person. Regular. Quote, unquote. Their head is not bloated.
But I won't do it again, I promise. The dumb darkness. It frightens me. And it rises from its very depths.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely on board for like, yeah, this is
Lady Maria,
this is a consensual event.
please take my hand. Please help me. Don't let me drown.
Yeah, this place sucks. Morphing into failures? Yes. This is the start of the Celestial Emissaries project, which ended up, you know, working a little bit. But before it worked, it didn't. And now in the base game, we met the Celestial Emissaries, and we learned about the Celestial Emissaries and communion, and we learned about how the Celestial Emissaries were an attempt to contact the beings that lived in the cosmos, the Great Ones. And part of that process that they seem to have refined and gotten, you know, pretty good at is like an enlargement of the head, and their arms and legs get super lanky and long. And now the successful celestial emissaries are even able to like grow to like massive size, and they sprout like weird tentacles out of their heads, and they can summon a call beyond, and things like this, you know, like it works. But like what we see here is like the early attempts at that, and it didn't go right. They're not good at it. It's now that was a church doctor. That was a church doctor in the black garb. And remember what we learned about the black garb church doctors. I'll read their lore in a minute. But this one here tries to poison you with its weird, gross, infected hand if you walk in too far. But like, look how they've just left the corpses, just like strewn about. Like, who works here? Where's the orderly? Where's the janitor? There's a nice, dirty, damp blood gem. Waning. Rapid poison plus 10. Living failures, weak to poison. Everything here weak to poison. The black church doctors, they use poison, remember? This is where all that started. Attire of the Healing Church Hunters. Most Healing Church Hunters are elementary doctors who understand the importance of early prevention of the scourge, achieved by disposing of victims and even potential victims before signs of sickness manifest themselves, compared to like the white church doctors who actively go out of their way to sort of expose people to things that will make them sick. Woo! Now, these dudes in wheelchairs obviously share a passing resemblance to the fella who gave us our blood ministration at the beginning of the game. But they're wearing those white coats. The idea that that beasthood is spread like through the legs is a superstition that the folks of Yharnam had. But it obviously did have some kind of effect on their legs, because a lot of these folks are in wheelchairs. Another superstition they had was that like beast blood affected like your left arm or whatever, and so they would wear like different types of armor and stuff on their left arm, which if we use the beast claws and we put them in the transformed mode, we can see that our left arm does in fact become like pretty beastie.
Is that you, Lady Maria? No. You're someone else.
Yeah, beast blood creeps up the left leg. Yeah. I can't wait for Bloodborne Scrub Dojo to hit YouTube 2 months from now. Actually, the first episode of this will be on YouTube in a couple days. But yeah, like, the idea that like the hunters like cut off their own legs or something. Like Gehrman is missing a leg. Like the idea that like those limbs are being amputated or you know, that fits into what we know about the white garbed church doctors, that they or the black garbed church doctors. They would absolutely, you know, like, oh yeah, just got to go. Legs got to go. Sorry. This is the second or third person we've met who's like talked to us a little bit about Lady Maria.
Please, could you do something for me? I need brain fluid. Murky, mushy brain fluid. Please, I need brain fluid.
So she wants brain fluid. And this is kind of giving us like some sort of like beginning understanding of like what the hell is actually going on here. And finishing this quest gives us some insight, no pun intended, into what they were trying to achieve. I think it's also possible that what that woman manages to achieve, she does without, like, it's just like the purity of her. Like she gets chosen to you know what I mean? The experiment just works for her, maybe, but I tend to think the answer is that's what they were trying to get after. These enemies down here are absolutely mental. They jump around all over the place. They crawl on all fours. They're just horrifying. But they're sort of coated like dogs, in that blood bullets just knock them over. And they have a really, like, I know they're crazy, but like they actually have like a really cool to look at like moveset. Like their jump attacks and stuff, they're pretty cool. Where the fuck are the people that were like, you know what, guys? Maybe we shouldn't fuck around with that stuff. Honestly, like, hard to find. Because this is the kind of thing where... Now, like, you see how much blood they're using. They're using the blood because, like, it heals us, right? That blood heals us. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel better. It even fixes our brain. The sedative. That thick, heavy human blood even makes our brain feel good. Not only does it make our body feel good, but it makes our brain feel good. So they're using the blood as like a sort of like aphrodisiac, or like not aphrodisiac, I'm an idiot. Like an intoxicant, or like an anesthesia of sorts. to continue work on people beyond like what physical means they would typically, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't be able to put up with this level of pain and whatever. So like in that instance, Willem would be like, y'all, you can't do this. This is crazy. But insofar as it was like, hey, we're shoving brain fluid in their head, Willem would be like, hell yeah, that's my shit. I live for this bitch.
Plop, blip, plop. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Blip, plop, blip, plop.
Why is Ludwig a horse? Like he's a high-ranking member of the church. He's the first, like, he's the hunter who turned hunting into what it became. High-ranking members of the church all have the most terrifying transformations. The game tells us, like, the higher you are in the church, the more terrifying the transformation when the curse hits you, which makes sense because, like, the curse rolls, you know, like downhill or whatever. But you know, Ludwig, Lawrence, you know, these people who were involved in the fishing hamlet and Bergenworth and all this, they're all punished in terrible ways. Amelia has an especially disturbing transformation. So, like, I wouldn't go looking like super hard for, like, you know, the symbology of a horse or whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but he's just fuck ugly. You know what I mean? And he's fuck ugly because, like, a lot of this is his fault. He's the one who turned the people of Yharnam into hunters and made hunting, like, everybody's job. They're like, everybody wants to know why he's a horse, but like it's more important that you recognize that, like, he's the beginning of the river of blood. You know what I mean? Like, get up here and we'll Duke's archives this right here. Is the blood they're using in the research hall just human blood? I mean, it's probably all of, like, it's a mess down here. But they're probably using human blood as a sedative and using Great One blood as a means of healing people.
Listen close, and you too will hear the sound of water. Listen close, and you too will hear the sound of...
The fact that we get guidance from that bird, I have, like, what does that mean? What is the symbolism there? That we get guidance from a bird. It's like the bird is staring out the window. Is it staring out at the moon? What's it, you know what I mean? Like, what does it mean? Contemplate on that, chat. Think on that. Why does a bird have a guidance rune? How did a bird hear a word of a Great One? The bird saw a great one? Maybe. But you don't have to see a great one. You don't have to see a great one to hear their words. Although I suppose it would help. I suspect if you see one, you probably hear it. And this is where the game just gets absolutely bonkers, and we start running into people who just straight up do not have heads. Oh, man. And they're just, like, hanging out. This is patient room floor 5, and you can see the symbol for communion. And that's the rune that we got. That's the rune that we got for defeating the celestial emissaries. So what we're talking about, like, the idea that this is the start of the celestial emissary program. It's almost like they heard that word, or they got that word from Carol, and they were like, "Yep, we gotta get this going." And so this became like the communion project. An enlarged head of a patient of the cathedral, with a cavity that just happens to fit a human head. Although one would be mad to try it on. But if you do, listen carefully for the sticky sound, drip, drop, as water seeping up from the depths, slowly, steadily. We also got the old hunter garb, the decorative old hunter garb. At the time, some hunters believed that certain metals would ward off beast blood. On a night of the hunt, it is no wonder that people would resort to superstition. And as an example here, it shows us that the decorative old hunter trousers do in fact have like a metal brace on the right leg. It's a brass trinket, which is an interesting, like, there's a lot of metallurgy stuff in Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne, and then, like, it never comes back. They don't, like, Dark Souls 2 will tell you what a weapon is made of, but a lot of times it's just, like, some made-up word, you know? But, like, in Dark Souls 1, it's like, oh, this is brass, and brass is important.
Plop, plip, 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 plop.
So, killing her gets us a brain fluid. But it doesn't really kill her either.
Lady Maria, I'm a robin. Will I ever curl up and become an egg? What say you?
What is it?
Lady Maria. Lady Maria, say something. Anything.
Now, the brain fluid is grayish, amoeba-shaped brain fluid, wobbles and bounces. Extracted from a patient whose head expanded until that was all that they were. Once, a young girl had an older brother who was determined to become a doctor, and so she willfully became his patient. In the end, this led to their encounter with the Eldritch Truth, for which they considered themselves blessed. That is like, because this, like, these games don't say, like, they don't tell you random shit about, like, you know, Jack and Diane, or whatever. Like, the fact that the game tells us that story makes me believe that it's a story about people that we know. Like, it's a story about characters that we have, you know, interacted with or are familiar with or whatever. And, but, like, who the hell would it be? Rom? That's about as good a guess I think as there is, honestly. I don't know that there's a better guess than that. But then who is her brother? And why is it Willem? Unbelievable. My sword ricocheted. What are they throwing at you? Just jars of something. There's another tricky situation in here with a poison. One of those stink hand Osaka Sekiro enemies. Oh shoot! That's another important thing. I haven't talked about that at all, and that's a thing that's like obviously important. The idea that our weapons, our bullets, are made out of our blood, and our bullets are called Quicksilver bullets, which would make them mercury, which is intensely poisonous and makes you go crazy. That's I can't. Yeah, that should have been like one of the first things I talked about when we started this playthrough. Is all the allusions towards mercury and quicksilver and the poison, like this poisonous bath, and the fact that these enemies are dropping like quicksilver for us, you know. Also, we got the lock shield. I'm very excited to have this. An artisanal shield crafted with blue glass, originally used to safeguard the leader presiding over a sacred healing church ceremony, and later supplied to tomb prospectors, in particular those exploring the Labyrinth of Ease. The blue is fashioned after a lake, and the shield greatly reduces all forms of non-physical damage. This shield is awesome. It looks cool. It does a good job of blocking bullets and spells and stuff like that, and fireballs. But I love the fact that they talk about some sort of ceremony. I like to imagine like the Healing Church folks getting together for the first time, and they're like, okay, we're gonna open up this portal into the cosmos. Who knows what could happen? And then they open up the portal, and they're expecting to like be greeted by like some sort of entity, but instead just like a huge pile of slugs comes launching out like a fucking cannon and kills one of the Healing Church people, and they're like, Jesus! And they're like, okay, well, we're prepared for it this time. We're prepared for it. We know what to expect this time. And so they try it again, and like they're all like soccer players lining up for a free kick, and they're all like guarding their, you know what I mean? Like they're all holding their scrotes, like to protect against the free kick. And instead, the portal opens up like way above them, and like stars come shooting out of it. And they're like, "This sucks. Somebody make a shield." They seem to have booby-trapped the bookshelves for some reason. Alright, so we've got one brain fluid. The other brain fluid is at the very tip-top of the thing. But how do I get back to the very tip-top of the thing? I suppose we should start by going up. And then we'll cut through this side. And there's some stairs. Nice. The headless folks are actually, like, pretty chill. Unless you hit them. And then they stop being chill. Alright, is it over there? There it is.
Splish, splash. Splish, splash. Have you heard how curiously the sea churns? Like a storm, but like the rain, only gentle, like dripping water. It bellows from deep inside of me. Here it comes, up through my inside, but gently, like little droplets.
TK Shot, welcome back. 42 months. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Tier 2 as well. Thank you, TK. Welcome back. What do you think the statues of the green light are? I'm not sure. We'll get a look at one. This woman just absolutely out of her mind.
Have you heard like a
Yeah, I heard about it. Little droplets. In the early days of the Healing Church, the Great Ones were linked to the ocean, and so the cerebral patients would imbibe water and listen for the howl of the sea. Brain fluid writhed inside the head, the initial makings of internal eyes. So they would like... Okay, you're asking about these lamps. I have no idea. I have no idea. That's just like such a little Lovecraftian frog man, you know? So this is how this is how they tried to form eyes inside of people's brains, is with brain fluid. And how do you tie that together with umbilical cords? You know? Can I go down? Can I go down the elevator? Nice. Yeah, that statue that we just looked at, that image is recurring. It's in the Upper Cathedral Ward. You'll see it in Bergenworth. You'll see it here. I'm not sure exactly what the hell it is.
Please, could you do something for me? I need brain fluid.
All right, so we give her brain fluid.
Oh, thank you. You're terribly kind. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, I hear the sticky sound. Do you hear it too? Oh, I know. Will you have my blood as thanks? I'll have you know, I was once a blood saint too, so do come back if you ever run dry of saint's blood.
I will never run dry of Saint's blood. She's mad because I've already got some Saint's blood, so we'll use it.
Oh, you accept. That makes me happy. But I cannot move. Look, on my right arm. I'm sorry to trouble you. But you don't mind, do you?
Blood taken from Adeline, patient of the research hall. Adeline was originally one of the blood saints who received treatment by the church to cultivate worthy blood. Adeline's was one of the few cases that turned out favorably.
I have failed. Please, Lady Maria.
That was lame. Whoa! I should have used the, Oh, come on! Him not on the screen and it coming out to nowhere. Good job. Good job. We love that. Oh, also my internet just went to hell. Fantastic! Well, you know what? Chat? Chat, you're cool. You're cool people. Let me throw up a JPEG so that we don't have to look at Comcast being ugly. Ugly people. Comcast are ugly people, chat, on the inside and on the outside. They're so ugly on the inside that it pours out to the outside. They're terrible, awful, ugly dog men who take advantage of everyone, and they're bad. They're bad. They're not good. Any thoughts about how all the people that give you blood are women? That's a good question, Finny. I've heard people contemplate that maybe it's like menstrual blood, and like it has to be said that there's, you know, blood ministration and menstruation, you know, like menses. There's a lot of flirting with that word. There's a lot of flirting with that word. Comcast or furries? See, no furry has ever like ruined my you know what I mean? Like I got no issue with furries. Furries don't charge me money for internet and then don't give it to me. Only Comcast does that. If you know what I mean? Like if a furry will stand with me against Comcast, then I will stand with a furry. Have no quarrel with the squirrel. That's right. That's right. My mom is a devout Comcast employee. We're talking about the higher-ups, Outcast. Look, this would be a good place to end the stream anyway. This would be a good place to call it a night. We got a lot of lore stuff done, and we're gonna just absolutely smoke. We're gonna absolutely smoke the living failures with this build, and I'm very excited about that. With the beast blood pellets, they're gonna go down pretty quick. So this is good progress. This is a good place to end it. We'll get back into it soon, and I will see you guys then. Thanks for hanging out and watching. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm enjoying, you know, going through it slowly. Usually when I do this, it's a bunch of PvP and everybody's